Hey everybody, what's going on? Fabian for Liberty, fabianforliberty.com. Okay, so I posted a video last week about billionaires selling dumping stocks, and a lot of people were like, not in this necessarily fashion, but some were like, "Ooh, that's an old article you're reposting, blah, 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 blah." And truthfully, or yes, the latter part of the document or the story that I posted was older, and it dealt with a book called Aftershock by this economist that basically forecasted the '08 collapse. And good book. I've read it a few times. And yes, that's shown up in a lot of different financial publications where they promote that. But the truth is that this story about billionaires dumping stocks doesn't mean they're getting out of all asset classes, as I've detailed and shown the proof here extensively and in my interviews, of how they're moving into the stock market. They're buying, farmland like crazy. They're investing in all kinds of things. I mean, Warren Buffett is dumping stocks, but just bought Prudential. John Paulson is dumping stocks, but he just invested $500 million into a company called Realogy that owns Century 21, not Prudential, but Remax and Sotheby's International, and on and on and on. So it doesn't mean they're getting out of everything. They're not. But they are dumping financial stocks, and they are dumping stocks in general. And today, Zero Hedge had a great article about this. And before I break that part of it down, this to me is reminiscent of the type of short selling put options that took place prior to 9/11. And as we're on the doorstep here of 9/11 again, and I dedicated a podcast today, which you could listen to, the link below, the Fabian Calvo show, to the potential of another 9/11. And not because, it's the 9/11 anniversary and, it's like a playbook that they're going to attack us again. No, because the mainstream media 24/7 is hyping the fact that ISIS is now in America, they're in Europe, and they're basically going to attack any minute. And it's upsetting to me because the West has funded them. This is on record. We've allowed the southern border to be completely left wide open. A lot of whistleblowers from Border Patrol have come forward, even some Department of Homeland Security whistleblowers, and saying, look, this is super dangerous. A bunch of guys are coming over here with, foreign visas. They're from countries that hate our guts, and they're coming, and we're catching some of them, but we're not catching all of them. But we are finding prayer rugs and Korans and everything else left along the border. I have a couple of good friends. One of them is a big game warden down right on the Texas-Mexico border. He's actually my cousin. And he actually was contracted by DHS about 5 years ago because he grew up out there. He knows the backwood trails so well to actually draw the maps of the border. And he's telling me he sees that stuff all the time. Okay, so here's a summary of some new billionaires. And, I mentioned this in the podcast. I'm friends, literally call them up on the phone with about 3 billionaires. There's about 2,000 plus billionaires in the world. I know these people through my business dealings, and a couple of them I've known through just some other friends. And I can tell you that for a fact, billionaires just in general, they're getting intel that you or I aren't privy to, okay? They're getting information from the highest sources of government that you and I don't get that call at 2 in the morning. Hey, we think this might happen. We're kind of freaked out. Maybe you should know about this. And I'm not telling you that the people that I know are telling me there's a 9/11 attack coming. I don't know what they're doing with their stock portfolios. I know that all 3 of them are big real estate guys. But I can tell you Sam Zell, another big real estate guy, is now on record basically saying he is, getting out of the stock market because it's overheated. And I wanted to read a quote from him because I thought it was kind of telling. But also you have Carl Icahn. George Soros, ladies and gentlemen, has a $2.2 billion short position against the Dow and the S&P. And again, knowing these guys get special intel, special info, let me read you this quote from Sam Zell, which I found really interesting. Here's what he had to say. I don't remember any time in my career where there have been as many wild cards floating out there that have the potential to be very significant and alter people's thinking. Look, if we're hit with another mega 9/11, a 9/11 that makes 9/11, a new 9/11 that makes the last 9/11 look like a walk in the park, without question, they're going to go straight for the Bill of Rights and the Constitution. That's a matter of fact. And all the neocons on the right, the neocons on the left, they're going to come together back on the White House steps or the, steps of Congress, and they're going to sing Kumbaya and we shall overcome. It's all going to be part of this big mega programming agenda. And look, I'm not saying this is going to happen. I hope it doesn't happen. But I'll tell you what, when I see the stories, like I mentioned yesterday on the podcast as well, where they've now stolen 11 planes in Libya, where now major intelligence people are coming out and saying, yeah, they might use those to basically load up with, 1,000 plus jihadis, land it in the U.S. airport and just basically attack everybody with machine guns. Or they might use those and basically use them as basically missiles against some of the biggest oil fields in Saudi Arabia, basically having oil go to $300 overnight a barrel. I don't know if that's going to happen. I hope I'm wrong. I'm not even saying it's going to happen because I don't know. I can tell you that it's interesting. As today the Dow hit 17,169, an all-time record. Didn't close at a record, but hit a record today during intraday trading. I believe it's going to go to 20,000. I believe, quite frankly, the New World Order is kind of freaked out right now because a lot of this stuff is unraveling. In fact, Carl Icahn, I believe, was specifically going after Janet Yellen and the money printing and how out of control things are getting. So the point is, folks, is that I think they're going to keep inflating this. I say nothing happens, right? And they keep inflating this thing for a couple more years. And I know that's not going to get me more video views or more subscribers because I'm not saying, hey, the attack's coming on 9/11, you better go hide in your bunker. I'm just saying we are really seeing things again that are reminiscent of 9/11. We're seeing the mainstream media just propagandize this like I've never seen, quite frankly, since I've been covering news since I was 13 years old. And I think that there is a big possibility that they can just go right for the jugular. Now, personally speaking, if they do that, it will really give them an incentive not only to just, go the tyrannical authoritarian route, which they're definitely planning on, but it'll also give them the excuse where they can come down and say, look, it's the Federal Reserve's patriotic duty. We got to print more money. We have to tax you more because now you got to pay more into the system because, after all, America needs you. So they could use that 9/11 attack to try to save the Ponzi scheme economy that's collapsing in real time right in front of them. That's a possibility. I don't know, though. I do think that they are beginning to see this thing unravel, and they know it will unravel. They just need to keep it together long enough for them to pass the baton, if you will, in this relay race of basically countries that hold the global economic currency or the global currency to China to the east. Whether they have time to do that or not, I don't know. Because if it unravels like tomorrow, I can tell you, and I don't hope this because I'm totally an advocate of peace. I don't, want any, I don't want to see violence at all. But if this thing happens overnight, you better bet there's going to be millions of people in the streets and they're going to be going after the globalists. And today on the podcast, I actually mentioned when Prince Charles and Camilla were caught in London on a side street. And people were like, hey, look, that's Prince Charles. And they literally attacked the Rolls-Royce Phantom that they were rolling around in. That was a couple years ago. And that's the kind of stuff I think that these people, that's why they're moving out of the countries and moving to Switzerland and Belgium and northern Spain, because they know what's happening. They get it, right? They're like, we got to manage this thing because if this thing unravels too quickly, they're going to come after us because we can't hide anymore that we're the ones behind all this. Again, I hope I'm wrong about this, but now if you question my last video, I'll post this Zero Hedge article as well with the videos of these guys on CNBC talking about how they're basically getting out of the stock market. But yet you see the stock market continue to go up, which is so obvious. It's Ponzi scheme manipulated insanity going on. And it's run by the central banks. I mean, it's obvious. But what's also obvious is that billionaires get prior intel. And is their selling a signal that we could be potentially seeing another 9/11, a new mega 9/11 on the horizon? I don't know, but I welcome your feedback and helping me, kind of flesh this out. Post your comments down below, like this video, share it with your friends and family, post it on social media. Also, the link down below as well. Because of the demand and also customer feedback, I made some changes to my London event where now you could attend just Friday, or you could attend just Saturday, or you could attend both days, because there's going to be different stuff each day. And some people are like, listen, I already have a career, or commodities trade or whatever. I want to see your economic forecasting. I really don't care about the real estate stuff. And some other people are the flip side of that. They're like, hey, I'm a real estate guy. I already know what's going on with the economy. I want to just go for the real estate stuff. So, now you can choose, or you could go to both days, whatever suits you. But I'll be in London January 23rd and 24th. Whether it's me with, 50 people, whether it's me with 5 people, I'm going to be there, and I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. I love these live events. Everyone that I've gone to pretty much is sold out, and it's been a great experience. And, it's always great to just run into like-minded people that want to better themselves, that don't have their head stuck in the sand, basically. All right, I'm Fabian Calvo. Thanks for watching. I'm out.